What's going on, guys? Welcome to September's episode of Destiny 2 Watch, the show where we play Destiny 2 throughout the month, and at the end of the month, we rate how addicted we've become to the game. Just joking. This is Plus Club for September, the show where we play the games offered to us on PlayStation Plus throughout the month, and at the end of the month, we talk about it, kind of like a book club. I know we got a bunch of new subs in the last couple months, so you might be wondering, what the fuck is this? It's like a book club. So hopefully you guys had a chance to play Destiny 2 and God of War 3. They were both offered for free on PlayStation Plus throughout September. You can probably still get them, but we're like right at the end. And just so you guys know, also, we're moving into another month. So we will be getting Friday the 13th, the game, and Laser League in October. My name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
And I'm Chris.
And game of the month is Deep Rock Galactic. Make sure to play that. We'll be talking about that tomorrow on Game of the Month. And we'll be picking a new game of the month. And hopefully I won't have a game that is crack cocaine, digital crack cocaine, and I can actually play it more than I got to play that. But I did play it, and we will talk about that. But before we get into all the shit that we're going to be talking about, let's talk real quick. What are you guys feeling on Friday the 13th, the game, and Laser League in October?
Okay.
I loved Chris's face slowly getting more intense and show. Okay.
Well, I was waiting to see if Chris was going to jump in. So
he did. How was his response?
With his face. So, I don't know. Friday the 13th, I know is in the same vein as that one that you really like. Can't remember the name already.
No.
What the fuck is that game called?
The game that didn't have the problems.
So anyways, yeah, same vein of gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
Just with one villain instead. So
sounds
it's
exciting.
Probably not going to be my cup of tea, but I will at the very least interact with it in some form. And the other game, all I know is what you kind of briefly explained to me before the show, and I'm interested to see what it looks like. But I'm also kind of thinking this month's going to be rough. So
yeah, I just to explain to anybody who hasn't seen those yet. Friday the 13th, the game is essentially a like 4v1, I think 4, I'm not sure, game where you're trying to evade Jason. Jason's trying to kill you all, similar to Dead by Daylight. I'm gonna bet right now not as good, though, because I really like Dead by Daylight. And Laser League is a isometric or top-down 2v2, 3v3 arena brawler fighter type game where you use different parts of the arenas as almost like mechanisms to defeat each other while you're trying to kill each other. It's adversarial, it seems. I hope it has fucking
bots.
Bots, thank you. Bot support. That's the fucking word. I got off work not that long ago. My brain's not working. And yeah, hopefully it has that. But yeah, I feel where you're coming from. I have a morbid curiosity to try Friday the 13th, the game. There was a big debacle when the game came out. It had a lot of problems. And I'm hoping they fixed it, especially now when they're offering it up. I almost feel like they should have offered up Friday the 13th, the game, before they offered up Dead by Daylight, though.
I feel like they're doing it because the other one did, though.
Yeah, I just feel like for people's expectations and how much they're going to enjoy the two games, it probably would have been better to get the fucking the McDonald's cheeseburger before the high-end meal. Doing it vice versa, you're just going to go, yeah, I guess I'll eat this. The last one's pretty good already. Though. And yeah, Laser League, I'm curious about, but I'm a competitive dude, but fucking not for these kind of games, really. So I'll be interested in trying it. I think watching the video, it seems pretty interesting. There's definitely some ideas there. But the first comment when I scrolled down was, "Are you depressed? Imagine paying money for this game."
Oh no!
Or imagine the people who paid money for this game.
Oh,
I was like, fuck, okay. That's a great thing the community's saying. So, Chris, thoughts? You did a face.
I'm kind of in the same vein as Chevy. I'm not super excited for this. I've seen a lot of gameplay for Friday the 13th, and I've known like a lot of the problems that came with the game. So I'm hoping they did fix a lot of it, but yeah. I'm not excited for it because I've heard a lot of like negative things, but I'm going to try to keep an open mind about it.
Definitely. Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to play a shit game, so I'm going to hope they're good.
Right. And then the other one I know nothing about than what you've just described, and it doesn't sound too much like my cup of tea either. So, gonna try my best to keep an open mind again about everything, but it's looking pretty grim for me.
I'm gonna put money on it though. I'm gonna assume, and Paul can let me know. I'm gonna assume Paul either already likes Laser League or will like Laser League.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, it seems like his kind of game.
It sounded like it.
Yeah. So, Paul, let me know what you think of that game if you're already playing it, or what you think of it when you play it. Yeah. So we also got Discord link down below. Click that. Talk to us anytime, all the time. We've been having really interesting conversations. More people are talking now, which is really cool. Getting more interesting and diverse conversations going on. So that's awesome. And we're on podcast platforms, iTunes, Spotify, and every other one you can probably think of. If you want to listen to us, you can do that. Save yourself some data. And if you want to watch us on YouTube, come to Tasty Loot Gaming and check out our beautiful faces. And yeah, let's talk about the games we played this month. So this month we played God of War 3 and Destiny 2. I think it's very important and crucial that we talk about God of War 3 first because I played a lot of one game and enough of another game. So we'll talk about God of War 3 first. In case you didn't get a chance to play it, God of War 3 is the third in the very popular series God of War that came out on PS3. It is a third-person action game. You play as Kratos. I don't have to explain too much because I'm sure everyone watching this has heard of God of War, but it is a brutal action game.
Third person, similar to mechanics to like games like Tomb Raider or like Uncharted, like puzzle stuff.
Yeah.
With quick time events and a lot of gore.
A lot of gore. A lot of gore. Something we'll talk about in a sec. But yeah, so we all played that. Admittedly, I only put about an hour to 2 hours into it because I have played it, obviously, back when it came out. This was more so to allow myself more time to play Destiny 2, but also to kind of see what they did with the PS4 port, just to kind of get an idea of it. So I'm going to let Chris start us off with this because I think he probably got the most out of this game than anybody. So I'm dying to hear what you have to say for your impressions of this month's play of that.
Well, I beat the game. I sat down and beat it in about 2 days, give or take. Yay, I beat a game.
Yeah. That's something that
it.
needs to be celebrated when I say that. Because it's hard.
I've never played, I don't think, I played a bit of the first God of War, but beyond that, I don't think I played any of the other ones.
Okay.
So I've always heard about it, but I've never really dove into it. As far as the game itself goes, graphically, I mean, what can you expect from a last generation console
Yeah.
game? It does well for its age as far as graphics go, but there is a weird disjoint for me in the voice of Kratos and how the character acts. It feels very weird to me. Like there's something not linking up to me. It doesn't feel like that's how you should work with his voice lines with the character. It's hard for me to explain.
You should play the new God of War. It is fantastic, and they fixed
Same
that.
voice actor, isn't it?
Huh?
Same voice actor, isn't it?
I don't know. I know the guy who plays Kratos in the new one was in Stargate, the show. So I don't know if that's the same guy. They don't sound the same to me, but I could
us below.
I could be wrong. Yeah, let's know in the comments.
And usually in games, I try to find like some sort of like connection with the characters, be it either like a side character or the main character, whatsoever.
And you definitely connect with Kratos, right?
Oh, absolutely. Very much so on every level. Very much so. I think that's the problem I had the most with this game was just feeling like I couldn't really control the choices that I wanted to make. Like even just like there's parts where you're fighting and there's a bunch of like monsters and there's a bunch of like just normal people. And I would try to fight just the monsters and Kratos would just turn and start gutting all the humans. And I'm like, it's not what I wanted you to do. Like, just leave them alone. They're not doing anything to bother you.
You murder the fuck out of them.
And gameplay wise, it's simple for me. It's very like X X Y and X Y X Y X. So it's not complicated. But I play those like 1 versus 1,000 games. Dynasty Warrior. So that's nothing that's really like to its discredit for me. But I know like a lot of people find that to be overly simplified. And
I came
enjoyable.
to a weird place playing God of War back when it was out, and to be transparent, I've never been a fan of God of War. I love the new one. So before you go, I love the new one. I love it. It's an amazing game, and they went in a different direction, which is great. But the prior God of Wars, I always complained were really ambitious in their the amount of work they put into those games back then, but they are very simplistic games to play. And playing it again now, I was like, this is the Lego games. Only you're Kratos, and you like the Lego games just took that formula and made them Legos without the
And you
violence.
do Tomb Raider things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was just the whole time I was playing, I was like, this is Lego God of War. But anyway,
Yeah. I mean, that really sums up really well how I feel about the game. It's like Legos. It's just so not challenging in the aspect of like how to control the character, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I only had trouble with one fight, I believe it was like near the very end, when it's just setting all these waves and waves of like really difficult enemies after you over and over again. But I couldn't really get super into it because of how they depict a lot of the gore. And don't like think that I'm like afraid of gore. I really love horror films, but it was done in a way that it seemed like, yeah, we're really edgy.
it glorifies it 100%. It glorifies it 100%.
And
It's
it's just
gore porn.
that's the type of genre of like movies and video games that I really just don't get into, is the gore porn. I don't see, there's no shock value when it's just constant to me.
Well, God of War has always been interesting to me, even when I was younger. Obviously, that was of the time to be celebrating gore like that. You'd have to be an indie studio to make something like that nowadays and get away with it, and everybody would look at it more like a novelty. But back then, that's a AAA game with a huge fucking studio working on a game where this dude, and there's definitely a fucking deep story there, 100%.
Absolutely.
But you can really see the amount of work they put into killing things. Everything you kill in really creative ways, really violent, brutal fucking ways. And it's really interesting because I have no problem with that at all. I don't give a shit. But it's a really interesting thing to see culturally as where we're at now versus then, because a game like that, I don't feel, I mean, they're brutal in fucking the new God of War, but they do it in more of like a fucking stoic way. Like you're this like fucking cold hardened killer, and you brutally kill people, but like it's to get them, it's to put them down quickly or whatever. Whereas like, or you had to do it in that way because you're near their mouth and you had to rip their head off and shit. But in that game, like, there's so many parts where you can tell the whole philosophy was like, we want to make it so when you kill something in this game, you're gonna go, holy shit, did you see that? Kind of like Mortal Kombat.
Right.
But Mortal Kombat's tone is different. Kratos and the story in God of War is very serious.
Well, even the Hades fight, you're fighting him and you're chopping chunks off of him.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Well, even like the hour and a half to 2 hours I played of the game to kind of remind myself what the game was, when you're fighting those like serpent chicks and stuff, they like go to slither away and you're like stabbing them in their snake part of the body and dragging your blades through them as they're trying to get away, and then you grab them by their fucking hair or their snake hair and pulling their head back and shit, and just doing like all this really brutal fucked up shit. And I get it because they're trying to kill you, so I mean it's all fucking war, but from a design standpoint, I like violent games, not for the violence, but like I play a lot of games where there's a lot of violence in them, and I'm not opposed to it in any fucking way. I'm not even gonna pretend that. But I'm not the type of dude who watches a horror movie because I want to see people get killed. I watch a horror movie for like the thrill of it, of oh fuck, are they gonna make it? Blah blah blah. Oh shit, cinematography wise, this is really fucking scary. Thematically, it's really scary. I don't watch it to go like, oh, fucking cut their goddamn heads off. Like I don't have that in me. So when I play God of War, it's wasted on me because I'm not the demographic for it.
for sure, it reminds me of how The Last of Us, they're also like very gory games, but they're definitely, their approach to it is more so like it wants to be disturbing, because it is disturbing.
Right.
It's a grounded brutality that's more so there to paint a picture of how fucking brutal you have to be in that world to survive.
Versus God of War, the originals, I should say.
Yeah, not the new one.
Specifically the one we're talking about. it is complete glorification. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's celebrated for sure.
That's the biggest problem I have. And it's weird because like Mortal Kombat, I think, is one of my most favorite games I've ever played growing up. Like it's a key part of my childhood. But something about this just is too much for me in the sense that it's just over the top, unnecessary, constant gore. And like you're saying with horror movies, like if it's every now and then throughout the movie, it's a shock value. But when it's constant, you become so desensitized to it. You're just like, oh, okay, whatever. Here we go again.
Well, I mean, I've watched movies where a killer is just killing people constantly, and you can tell that the person who directed it just wanted to make a gory movie, which normally doesn't do it for me. I mean, the only gore porn movies I've ever really kind of enjoyed were like the Hostel series, just because they're so ridiculous. I'm just like, this is so fucked up. This is stupid. But I wasn't getting off on the idea of the brutality of it or how gross it was. I just saw Eli Roth wanted to make something really fucked up, and he did. And I kind of respect it for that, but at the same time, I didn't love it. So when I play God of War, tonally, it's a very serious story. He's trying to get revenge. He's trying to get in some way redemption, and at a cost of like, even in the beginning of the game when like the world floods, he shows no remorse for that because he's on a level now where he's battling gods, so he's not thinking about people, and it's really hard to relate to that unless you really like the idea of a really strong fucking dude who will brutally kill people. And I just like, I like the way they did it in God of War, the new one, way better. He even tonally kind of speaks about that time and how like it was different then and shit. The things he's done is awful for what he had to do, and it's cool the way they did it.
The beginning is just straight up pretty much Dragon Ball Z with that first fight, but
well, yeah, but that doesn't have a whole lot to do with his sins of the past,
right?
So I like the way they did it. But
I think something about the story was what really drove it in for me, is why I kept playing it all the way through. I wanted to get to that conclusion. I wanted to see if there was any redemption, I guess, for Kratos at the end of this for me.
The new God of War. That's the redemption. Go buy it.
Yeah. Oh.
God of War 3 is just an advertisement to go get some real good storytelling gameplay. Yeah, anything else? I mean, I agree with you 100% on the brutality. It was one of the first things I noticed when I was playing it.
Yep. Well, that's all I think I have for now.
It's interesting too, speaking on that, and I want to make it clear again for anybody watching this who really likes God of War and likes the gore and stuff like that. It's fine, like that's your thing, and there's not anything weird about that. A lot of people are into it. Obviously, that game was huge. They made that for a lot of people, so it's just when I was playing it felt wasted on me. At least in Mortal Kombat, there's a camp to it that these people are fighting, and they make the story pseudo serious in the new ones, which is kind of cool. They did a really good job with that. But when you're fighting somebody, especially back in the day, and there's a guy popping up screaming whoopsie and fucking toasty and shit, and then you're like punching a dude's head off, that's more like, whoa, did you see that? Versus like, holy fuck. And then in the new ones, there's some pretty brutal fucking fatalities. But they're done in such a way in the X-ray and stuff like that it is just for the shock factor of it. I feel like it's totally different. But I'll jump into my impressions real quick, just because I think I can do it pretty briefly. I feel the exact same way that I felt about God of War back in the day. I don't really like the gameplay of it, of the prior God of War, specifically this one, because it's the one we played this month. I still don't really dig it, but I appreciate it. Because one thing I noticed now versus then is they do vary the scenarios you're going into every time you fight people or go to the next area almost too much. I felt like sometimes they were making you do things that you shouldn't even have to do, just because for PS3 it's probably really impressive that they had you climbing on ceilings and shit. But so I can get behind that, but at the same time, and it's good that they're keeping it varied and interesting, but it almost seemed like the whole game was really trying to prove how big this game could be. That is one positive I'll give it in playing it again, though, is the scale is really impressive even nowadays. The graphics, although it's sad, I feel they're dated, because I remember when that game first came out, I was like, this is fucking pinnacle of graphics. It's weird looking at it now and going, wow, those animations are kind of stiff. But it's still, you can still look at it and think of the time and go, this game was gorgeous when it first came out, because it's still really clean looking. Obviously, it's probably been updated a bit as a port, but But it's still impressive in a lot of ways. The animations when you're swinging your weapons is good. The big thing that impressed me though is the storytelling, which I think is really imaginative, and no shortness of ambition on trying to realize big events. Really fucking cool. And diving into Greek mythology is fucking awesome. So it's refreshing. We don't have a whole lot of games like that even now. So I give it that. But yeah, inevitably, I still was reminded that I don't like the simplistic combat. I don't like running into arenas and knowing I have to fight a bunch of dudes who are going to show up and you just hit them. And then once I'm done there, I move on to the next area. I do like some of the things you add on to Kratos as you keep playing to allow you new or access to new areas or whatever. But that's pretty typical in a lot of games. And yeah, I mean the game's fine. It's fine. It's just not for me. I never was a big fan of God of War, and I'm still, I appreciate it in a nostalgic sense more than I ever did before. But the big thing I take away from this game is it just makes you really appreciate Santa Monica maturing and turning into what they've become now. Because the new God of War, I think, is close to a fucking masterpiece. It's their masterpiece for sure. So God of War 3 was definitely a stepping stone in that direction. It's just insane to see that polarity between their mentality of emphasizing brutality for the fuck of it and making what they've done with the new God of War, which is just like an amazing story that's done really fucking well. But you can see the ambition in God of War 3. And now when you play the new God of War and you're like, these guys made this shit. Those are the guys who made fucking God of War 3 though. So it makes sense. These guys don't fuck around when it comes to making games. They just got older and better at making games. So that's my impressions.
All right.
Not bad.
Not bad. Those aren't some bad impressions.
I'll say a lot of that I agree
I've heard
with.
worse.
I'm just gonna go into my impressions as well. So I suppose, unless Chris has anything to say, I'll jump into mine.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, I mean, I also agree. I think there's a lot of positives that you can really see out of this game and prior games, but we are mostly talking about this game. The scale is larger than life.
Inevitably, we are.
The story is very imaginative and actually very entertaining to follow, even with the really awful dialogue that is there. The story itself, I do find myself drawn to. It's fun. It's creative. It's a nice spin on the mythology, and I
watched a YouTube video to catch me up on the story of God of War all the way up until the new one when I first bought it. Because I was playing, I was like, man, this game's really good. Fucking what happened in the last ones? I forgot. And I watched it. I'm like, that storyline's actually pretty fucking interesting.
It's pretty cool, yeah.
It's very imaginative.
The gods and the titans, and then, essentially the fucking eradication of all of them.
Yeah, it's a really dark story because everyone, to different degrees, fucks Kratos over, and Kratos kills them all.
All of them.
Like he's just like this god killer, and it's not even in some ways. Obviously, the brutality is glorified, but like there's something really dark about even when he gets allies, they're after something, and they're only using him, and he kills them too. Like everybody.
A weird example, but even in this game, when you're in the I've forgotten the name, but the underworld essentially, and you run into. Who's the fucking archer in Greek mythology? Anyways, he's being tortured by being caught on fire or near fire constantly.
Achilles?
No, it's the guy looking for his wife who Hades marries.
Icarus?
No, it's an A. It's like Artemis or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
But, the whole time he's like, if you free me, I'll give you my bow. And, you don't say anything to him. And it results in you burning him alive and taking his bow anyways.
Yeah, definitely when they zoomed in on him screaming and his skin burning off, I was like, that's them. They really wanted to show you that.
For sure. Now, with all those positives being said, I want to throw a couple more in, actually. So even for how dated the game is, and it could be because it's remastered, the combat animations are still incredibly fluid, which I really appreciate. but it's a little jarring when it comes to moving and aiming mechanics, which are really stiff, and boss fights are so mechanical. It's robotic.
Yeah,
And it's really weird. Um, but it's an older game. I mean, obviously, we're used to a different standard at this point. But for the time, it's actually really impressive. The larger than life aspect of it is something a lot of Western developers just don't do, and they did it. Like, you'll be climbing on Gaia in the beginning, and in the background you see the other Titans fighting the other gods and falling off the mountain, and you don't see that. So, huge props to them for thinking so large and like creating set pieces like that. Like, it's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the negatives, though, because they're going to be there, the combat's boring. It's repetitive. It's rinse and repeat. And if you know how to dodge, you're fine through the whole game.
Yeah, and every time you meet a new enemy and you kill it in an interesting way, you're going to do that same kill every time you're into that same enemy again, and it wears out.
Well, to use the example of the bow again, the moment you get it, you're supposed to use it. Like, that's just how it is. They want you to kind of force you to use it so that you get a kind of a cheap tutorial.
Yeah, the game feels very guided in that sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And other than that, I really appreciate, games, obviously, as we all do, that have a choice in upgrades. So you do get to spend points to increase the aspects of Kratos that you enjoy personally. Yeah. And that's always a plus. So that's really good on them for that. Though, I feel like eventually, it's been a long time since I actually beat, any of those games. But I feel like eventually you just got to max them all out anyways. So, but yeah, as far as like this time around, I played this game originally when it came out, and in this case, for transparency's sake, I watched the first 2 hours of the game on YouTube because I'm on vacation and don't have access to my PlayStation 4. So
yeah.
So I've seen all the way the second or third boss. It's essentially after Hades. So. But yeah, that's my general impressions. I think they did a lot of good, but when it comes down to the core stuff of playing a game, it's repetitive. So
yeah, for sure. All right, do we recommend before we grade? I forgot.
Yes.
All right. So who would we recommend it to? Obviously, anybody who's played any of the God of War games or played the new one and want to know where it comes from. I mean, I feel like if you're already curious about that, you probably already hopped back and played it.
For sure. I think to add to that, I kind of brought it up before, but like it kind of feels like Tomb Raider in a way.
Yeah.
Because of all the puzzles and the weird mechanics to get around the levels and stuff like that.
I think if you've played any action third-person action game, you probably have already played this or should play it. Especially like if you played Zelda and you don't mind really brutal shit.
Blood.
It has similar mechanics in the sense of grabbing things and having access to new areas. Yeah, if you like any kind of third-person action game, though, I mean, this game you probably already played, but you probably should play it if you haven't. If you really like Greek mythology, I feel like it's a must, because there's Titan Quest and maybe some other games out there that are going to give you that. The new Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you like brutality, if you're the opposite of me and you like watching horror movies for the blood and the guts and the decapitations, or if you play Mortal Kombat and you love those fucking finishers, which I do too, but we can be the same on that one. This game would definitely be worth playing because it was designed for that. So I would definitely suggest it for that. And I mean, if you like games with some progression, I would not suggest this, but it's there if that will help you want to play it. Also, real quick thing I have to mention, God of War is the reason why QuickTime events started getting a bad rap, and I was reminded of that playing this. Because they're everywhere. Everything you do in that game.
Totally not the Poseidon fight in the beginning.
Yeah. Fighting even fucking normal monsters. He'll be like, QuickTime event. I'm like, oh, come on, dude. Every single time.
Just let me kill things.
Yeah. Also, if you like games with big bosses, Shadow of the Colossus, stuff like that.
Oh, for sure.
Definitely worth playing because you're gonna appreciate the scale of what they did with this game. Other than that,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't know who else I would really recommend it to.
I agree with you 100%, except for add titties.
Oh yeah, there's titties.
I mean, that's pretty much it.
It's the reason Chris played it.
Yeah. I don't know. I just felt it had to be mentioned.
Yeah.
All I think of when I see this game is 90s edgy guy.
Oh yeah.
Duke Nukem? This is 2000s edgy guy. It's the next step of Duke Nukem. Duke Nukem was a caricature of like Arnold Schwarzenegger and all the action stars of the 90s. Kratos is the embodiment of fucking, this is Sparta. I'm a fucking badass and I kill everyone in my way and I fuck everything in sight. And if you're a giant, it doesn't matter because I'm going to fucking murder you. And there's no doubt in my mind it's going to happen.
Yeah. Those people who like to overcompensate for things.
Kratos might be fucking packing a little baby dick. He's born with it, whatever.
According to all the women he has sex with, it's not. It's great. So I don't know.
If you're fucking a dude who's killed every god ever, you're gonna really say he's got baby dick?
Maybe.
You're gonna go, here's the best. Can I go now? He's the best ever. Kratos is my favorite. He's buff. All right, Chevy, grade it.
Even though I personally, I'm not a huge fan, there's a lot there to appreciate, I think, and anyone who enjoys action games, if he could enjoy it. So I'm gonna actually say B minus.
That's fair. Man, my grades are always pretty similar to yours. I've been fucking struggling with this one because I don't feel like I could even give it a C anything.
It's not a bad game.
It's not. I just don't love it, but it's got everything there. It was a great game when it came out. People probably still fucking love it.
For sure.
Yeah, I'll give it a B minus too. And the only reason I'm giving it the minus, I think it is like a B plus game for sure. But I just don't enjoy playing it. So that minus is my own personal take on otherwise me recognizing the work and why God of War is fucking popular, or was back then. So yeah, B minus. I'll give it that.
I'm debating between the B minus like you guys are doing.
Give the B minus a small dick.
A C plus. Only because I did play the game all the way through. It was mostly because of the story. I wanted to see what would happen, not necessarily because of gameplay. But it's like you said, it's not a bad game. It's just dated, I think, is the biggest problem I have with it.
It's definitely of its era.
Yeah,
like that game is a fucking an artifact from that time. It embodies everything of that time.
I also see no reason to play it again, which is like a big part of grading for me is replay value. So
you beat the shit out of it too. Was that the first God of War you beaten?
It's the first one I played all the way through. Yeah,
that's interesting. You got to play the new one, man. It's so fucking good. You'll appreciate the new one even more.
Of what was the story?
Yeah, because it ends pretty intense. So, yeah. Let us know in the comments, what did you think of God of War 3? Do you love it? Do you hate it? If you love it, let me know why you love it. What about it just screams to you? Obviously, we've talked about the quality here, but are you really into the Greek mythology? Are you really into Kratos? Do you like him as a character? Do you love the fucking brutality? Do you like the combat, the combos, all that shit? If you hate it, let me know why you hate it too. But be nice about it. Don't be like, hey, this game fucking sucks. Everyone likes it. Fucking sucks. Because then you kind of suck for saying that stupid shit. But yeah, let me know why you don't like it too. Let me know everything you're thinking about when it comes to God of War 3. Also, give me a grade. I'd love to know what you would grade it. Second game and only game I've played this month is Destiny 2. If you don't know, Destiny 2 is the sequel to Destiny. You probably didn't know that. Which is Bungie's foray into the first-person online faux MMO area where you play with two other players typically. There's other modes you can do. And do quests, go through a storyline, sci-fi. There's loot, gear, leveling up, skills. Good graphics. It's a AAA game for sure. And yeah, it's Destiny. Destiny 2. Anything I miss on that?
Dinklebot is gone.
Dinklebot's fucking gone, and they brought in Ortis.
Is it?
It seemed the same thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hey, talk operator.
I get really confused because it was Dinkle, and then it was Nolan North,
Yeah.
and then he became was it Cade?
Is he Cade?
I'm pretty sure.
In Forsaken, it sounded like him, but in one of the missions, it didn't sound like him at all.
I honestly have no idea. I just know that he's jumped around a lot.
I don't know
when it
either.
comes to that. And the ghost apparently just has a million voices.
Let's tread carefully when we talk about Cade, because I know people like him.
That doesn't mean I have to know who the fuck his voice actor is.
Dude, people have all sorts of reasons to get pissed. Yo, you never fucking played the game? Actually, played it quite a bit.
Too much.
I'm not bragging about that.
Fuck no.
Yeah, so Destiny 2, played it all month. Let's start with Chevy.
Okay, so I think a note we should also remember to bring up is we are grading the base game that was offered for free on PlayStation Plus, and not the DLCs.
Yeah, actually, let me make a real quick. I'm going to speak for everyone real quick, and correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's really important as well, and it's something I have to keep explaining when I was doing streams, stuff like that. I don't have to explain it, but I want to explain it because people are like, when I went into Destiny 2, I was like, oh god, Destiny 2. It's really important that I explain that we actually all were super hyped on Destiny. Launch night, we stayed up all fucking night. We planned out our clan name. We played it fucking nonstop. I don't think I slept for 3 days. We fucking loved Destiny. We played the shit out of it. We beat it. We're waiting for the fucking first raid to come out. It came out. We loved the raid. And then we kept doing the raid over and over and over again. And then some people stopped playing. Some people stopped playing. The clans started kind of going away. And then we saw that the next updates were all pretty much PvP-based things. And a lot of the content that was coming out was more of the same stuff, very minimal things, and more PvP stuff, things we didn't really buy the game for. And I like PvP in games, but I did not buy Destiny for that. So we kind of fell out of Destiny to the point where we kind of gave up on it. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Yeah.
So jumping into Destiny 2, understand that we don't...
Low expectations.
We didn't start out super stoked. In fact, I made jokes. I'm like, well, I'll have a reason to play God of War 3 this month. And it's also worth noting too that we did really like Destiny. So there was a time that we really liked it. So it wasn't that we just hated Destiny and we're haters. It was a slow burn that happened. So anyway, with that, let Chevy talk about his impressions of it.
So base game obviously, and I should probably just go ahead and say spoiler warning because I'm probably gonna talk about some story stuff while I talk. I'll keep it kind of vague, but just in case, if you don't want to hear about the story, probably should skip ahead a couple minutes.
I will barely talk about the story. I don't play that game for that.
So you start the game, obviously, as the almighty guardian from the first game, and these badass cabal, I can't remember, the Red Legion, show up, and they put a giant fucking, I'm going to steal your power fucking trap on the Traveler and kill...
We don't got to explain the story. Through some means in the story, your powers get taken away and you start from square one again.
Pretty much, yeah. It's very convenient, right? So you go through and you're, reset, like Seth said. And
I did say that.
Yeah. So you go through the game and then you finally you go through the story, you're doing leveling or whatever, and the first thing I noticed is, like Destiny 1, the controls are super fucking tight. It's a really good playing game. Never been a problem for this game. These guys made fucking Halo. I mean, the game plays really fucking well.
Tight and smooth like butter.
Yeah, leveling is, for the most part, for most of the game, I actually think a little too fast, but good pace probably for most. Huh?
I got the 20 real quick.
Yeah, it's fast. But I also come from, MMOs. So like, and I realized they're trying to meet people in the middle shooter MMO, and I think they married that pretty well. Um, yeah, I think my biggest gripe is even going through the storyline, I didn't care about it still
Yeah.
because they did a bad job of making me care about it in the first game, so it didn't carry over well for me. Um, and like I said, I'm talking about base game because DLCs is a different story. But for the sake of the topic, the story for the base game of Destiny 2, I just did not give a shit about.
Yeah.
It is kind of meh the whole time. I was really confused on why most of the features you have to be level 20. Like,
Right.
it's really weird. Like,
Yeah, the
they
game starts
literally
at level 20.
they wanted it to feel almost like a single player game.
Yeah, and
until
then
you
once
hit
you get to
20.
level 20, then all of a sudden it's the MMO.
Yeah. So that was a weird direction, I think. So
Saying it like that almost makes me appreciate it more. Because at first I was like, why is it like this? But now I'm like, maybe that's for people who didn't want to play this with people. Maybe that's for people who just want to play a fucking single player game. And that's a way to kind of simulate that. Even though you can play it with people the whole time. But like, all the options open up at 20.
Right.
For sure, yeah. And for me, that's kind of a bummer, right? You don't get your sparrow. You don't get to do the strikes. You just fucking keep walking in a straight line. And I don't know.
Anyway. I thought it was weird then, but now that I've put more time into post level 20, way more time, I really feel like that's just for you to get through the story and learn the game.
Yeah, but without the DLCs, that's also the end.
Right.
Which a lot of people complained about. So
yeah, so and that's what we're talking about, though, right?
Sure.
So I think it was a pinch, like a very small pinch, better than Destiny 1 in the base game, and that's pretty much my general impression of the game. So,
Chris.
Just and we keep emphasizing this, but it's really important that DLC aside, I kind of really agree with Chevy on this. Playing through the base game, I felt like very kind of pigeonholed and you have to go this way, you have to do this way. I was very upset that I didn't get my sparrow like Chevy until the end of the game. That was the main means of me trying to get around. But I tried to think about it in a way of they really want you to get around on foot and explore this world before they send you off and just cruising through everything. But it's still for anybody who played the older Destiny. It's just okay, I get it. Just give me my ship. Give me my sparrow. I wanna cruise through this land that's 20 miles long. I want to sit here and walk across the land again.
Mm-hmm.
But gameplay is, like Chevy said as well, really tight. A lot of things that Chevy said I really agree with. The storyline, and I get when you said you kind of think about it again, they want you to get the storyline and not muddle through with all these other side things to do. They really want you to shotgun through it so you can do all the end content. But I feel without the DLCs, the end content again is just the original Destiny. There was nothing to do. So I went in with it with a very open mind, and it was fun, and I chugged through it, and I got to level 20 almost instantly. But at the end, I felt like I had to buy the DLC at the end to continue enjoying the game, because where it was at the base was not enough.
Yeah. Yeah, fair. Okay, so yeah, I was taking my time to start playing this game, and because I was like, it's Destiny, whatever. And then during a stream, I was like, hey, what should I play? And someone's like, oh, Destiny 2. I think it was all excited. Probably 100% was.
Probably.
And
Probably.
And I was like, I have to play this month anyway. So I hopped into it, started playing the beginning. I was making fun of it for a solid hour. And then some people in the chat started making fun of it a little bit too. And all excited, I was like, come on, fuck, just give it a chance, blah, blah, blah. And I kept playing it or whatever. And about an hour or two into it, I realized I forgot I was making fun of Destiny 2 when I was playing it. And I was like, okay, shit. The game plays well. I like loot a lot. And I saw a lot of improvements. So with what you guys said, and again, emphasizing, are going to prioritize talking about the base game, but I will mention the DLCs because I would like to put some optimism out there for anyone who isn't interested in Destiny 2, because I can definitely do that. But playing it, the big things I noticed is graphically, it looks great. But the first thing I fucking noticed, and it's a huge improvement, regardless of that. I think the base story is mediocre. It's not bad. It's not good. It's exactly what you expect. As soon as it starts, you're like, okay, I know where this is going to go. And that's fine. There was a fucking story. They showed a story. It had cinematics that were done really well. The graphics are done really fucking well. That's huge. That's something the first game fucking did not have. And my big thing that I'm probably gonna keep wrapping around to is, I feel like Destiny 2 is exactly what Destiny should have been. Take it or leave it, good or bad. It's what Destiny should have been. It's what I wanted Destiny to be. So, first thing I noticed, there's a storyline and it's actually told. And you understand it. You don't have to go online to fucking read shit to understand it. That's huge. That means they listened and went, okay, we're going to do that. And they did it. Also, Dinklebot is not in the game, which is great. So you don't start the game out and hear fucking Tyrion fucking, that wizard came from the moon. And you're like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? That sounded so stupid. The base game has more enemy types, varied enemy types, which is cool. I think the planets are way more interesting than in Destiny, way more realized, bigger, with way more little intricate little nooks and crannies to go through and explore. I found myself enjoying exploring in that game way more than Destiny, like way more. I remember getting bored of Destiny's areas pretty quickly, even when I was still enjoying it. So that is something I have to give it. I think most of the planets are pretty neat. Some of the areas, second planet Titan. Is that what the second planet is? With the with the ocean and shit. That place is neat as shit. I was walking around that place and everything's kind of like just moving in the wind. You're just watching the ocean roll, and it's like a horror movie. It was really fucking neat. I could have stayed there longer. There's way more things to do in the game, way more side quests, way more like little patrols to do and shit. The game, they really went, okay, and it's probably Activision, like, Bungie, you're really good at making games. We've seen it with all the games you made, but how can we hook them young like cigarettes? How do we get the kids hooked young? How do we get in their fucking brains? How do we make it so when they breathe, they just want to breathe Destiny 2 in? And Bungie's like, I don't know, we'll fucking work on it. And they figured it out because the game is addictive as shit. They took all the things all the addictive qualities of like an MMO and they streamlined them and they threw them into this fucking game. I'm not saying this is a good or bad thing. It's just it's a thing. It's real. The addiction's real.
They called Treyarch and they're like, how do we do this? And Treyarch's like, hey, just pat him on the back constantly.
He has a cookie.
Tell them they're a good boy all the time and give them treats. They'll keep coming back. Give them good gameplay and give them treats. They're not gonna fucking leave because they're like, this is nice. I like this. This ain't too bad. There's some games that punish me. This is nice. So I mean, overall, Destiny 2 is I think an improvement in every way. I like the way they do the loot system now. It's less annoying. It's more exciting. I like that there is, if they are going to have pay for items in the game, you can still earn them in game. That's very smart. It's all cosmetic too, so it's very smart. It does not make me upset that they did it. Although I know a lot of people had problems with it, and I can understand it. I'm not even defending it. They allow you to get them without paying money. So that's,
I actually 100% agree with you on the cosmetics, and I think the way they handled it was super smart.
Yeah.
I think anyone complaining or just anti spending extra
they don't want
money,
to spend money. They don't like the idea of anyone wanting money.
Which I get, but they don't affect gameplay. And like you said, every time you refill your EXP bar, you get some.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. Being able to, the amount of shaders in the game, and we're talking base game still here, is insane. I constantly am completely fine and happy with the customization in the game. Every time I get a new piece of gear and I like it, I start looking through my colors. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, I'm never like, well, I guess I'll just go to this color. I'm like, do I want this one? Do I want that one? That one's really fucking cool. There's a lot of really cool ones, and there's a lot of cool textures to the fucking design, so they're not just base colors. Some of them have stripes and shit, or like textures to them. They did a really good job. They did a
Right.
really good job on the customization. I think the armors look fucking awesome. I've always loved the art style of Destiny. I've always thought it was very
yeah.
cool. It's like a really cool mix of like medieval capes and shit and sci-fi. And it's really dope. And Bungie knows what they're doing with the sci-fi look. It looks fucking dope. So they made that better. Like I said, I really like the shaders. I like that you could put shaders on everything. You can put it on your fucking guns. You can put it on your guy. You can put it on your vehicles. You can put it on your ship. You can customize how your person respawns. I had all these like Asian like lanterns and stuff. Japanese looking lanterns come up.
I had a bunny.
Yeah.
I got spotlights that just swirl around like ba-ding.
And sorry I'm going off, but I kind of feel like you guys missed a little bit here. Like they really did improve a lot of things here. Oh god, I had another one. The way they did Crucible, I think, is it doesn't seem as emphasized. It feels like a whole separate thing. Whereas in Destiny it did too, but it almost feel like you had to start going towards Crucible because you're running out of content. Crucible almost feels like a separate fucking game. Me and Josh played it for like 4 hours one night, and it was like we're playing a completely different game, but we're still getting rewards for Destiny, which I thought was really cool. It still lacks modes, which kind of sucks. But there is a couple of interesting ones. I would love to talk about Gambit more, but that is not in the base game.
Yeah.
Although it was beta tested and went free on weekends, but I really don't want to include that in talking about the base game. But yeah, there's just the whole experience of Destiny, outside of me making fun of it for the first like hour, because it was very predictable in its storytelling, and I already assumed I wasn't gonna like it. Has been pleasant. I've liked the whole fucking thing. I've had a hard time all month putting it down. I come home from work and sometimes I'll like, I'll do it daily. That doesn't happen. I just play until I go to bed, and then I get up, go to work, I come home and play till I go to bed. And I haven't had that experience.
Before I went to vacation, that was the same thing for me. I was staying up till like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, you were bad. And I told you too. I was like, oh, you should play Destiny. You're like, whoa. I'm like, you should play Destiny too. Like, I'm actually enjoying it. I just bought the DLCs. And he's like, and I'm like, just try it. Like, I'm telling you. And then all of a sudden, Chevy's just like in the dark room, fucking with the soft glow of the screen on his face. Just... I'm like, yeah, he's not stopping. He's playing this. And he's been playing nonstop. Also worth noting, I think I'm 5'18" now. So me and you are in the same area.
Nice.
Yeah. On my way up. Almexai wants me to start all over on PC, and I'm just like,
yeah, fuck that.
yeah. Sorry, Almexai. Although he was like, I'll buy it for you. I'm like, ugh. I don't have that. I need a cloning machine.
If you have that kind of commitment, come play on PS4.
He has it on PS4 too. He plays on both. This show ain't about Almexai, as I'm sure he would love it to be. Actually, fucking be like, why am I getting picked on?
Why me? Always me.
Yeah, such a victim. Anyway, another thing I want to mention too is I like the way they did the weapons. I like that they kind of did the Borderlands thing, and there's different companies that make specific types of weapons. So I found myself really liking Omelon weapons a lot because they're normally really accurate and really high rate of fire. And I feel like they really knocked it out of the park with the guns, because I like almost every single type of weapon in the game. Even at first I was like, oh man, I hate these 3-round burst weapons. But there's ones that like you can hold the trigger down and it goes, so it's pretty much a machine gun, but it's still a 3-round burst weapon. They really made it so even if you don't like the weapon you got, you might get one later that you might like. The only ones I really don't like is the hand cannons, and I know a lot of people like them a lot.
Love them. Yeah, people do.
I'm not a fan, but I also like fully automatic weapons. I've always been a running gun kind of guy, and yeah, so I enjoy the assault rifles, the SMGs. I like every weapon in the game. The only ones I don't use at all is the swords, and I think it's awesome that they made the swords a fucking power weapon. Versus back in Destiny, you'd go do like a fucking, a raid or strike or something like that, and there'd be a room you run into, and there's a sword sitting there, and everybody, somebody got to pick it up, and that person just run around cleaving everyone to death, and everybody else is playing the game like normal, and somebody got that excitement. And in this, they're like, people really like the fucking sword. Let's make it a weapon. So I think that's really smart. And people play him. Josh in PvP was fucking blocking bullets and killing people with them and shit. So they're completely viable. Yeah, so I'm really happy with the weapons. I'm really happy with everything in the game. But again, I have to emphasize, this is what I wanted Destiny to be, and I'm not trying to take away from it because they did what I wanted, which is great. But it's just weird that essentially the experience I was hoping for in Destiny is now in Destiny 2, and I can't complain because I got it. So I'm having a lot of fun with it. Within the time that I'd beaten Destiny 2 and hit max level, I did not start the grind. I went and bought the DLCs instantly without thinking about it. I was just like, all right, time for the DLCs, and I just bought them. And then as I was fucking playing those, I'm like, I'm gonna have to get Forsaken because I was like flying through the first DLC. I was like, fuck, okay. It wasn't even a thought. I wasn't like, oh man, am I gonna buy that? I was like, yeah, I guess I'm buying that. So it's pretty natural. And real quick shout out, Forsaken is probably the best Destiny 2 gets so far, and I really hope Destiny 3 base level will be Forsaken, or more. So because they did a lot with Forsaken that made everything better. It's a good expansion. So
For sure.
That's a different conversation, but worth mentioning.
Also, I want to add one huge thing they added that is a huge positive as well, is that clan is built into the game and it doesn't have to be operated on their website. That I can't believe that was even a thought before.
Yeah.
Even at the time, it seemed outdated. So thank you.
Yeah, no, when I saw there's clan stuff in the game, I was like, any other game ever made, that's just that's the standard. Yeah, the clan is part of the game. There's going to be a clan menu at the very least. You're going to be able to look at it and go, oh, I'm a clan level. Oh, I got, 12 people in my clan, 20, 200, blah, blah, blah. Destiny didn't have it at all. You had to go fucking on the website and shit. And I was just like, that's ridiculous. But I really want to emphasize too, I really believe Bungie has been doing first person shooters for so long. That's why they make them so good, that when they dived into Destiny, they had good intentions and they took on a lot of basic ideas. And I think they learned a lot in the process of people bitching for features.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think in Destiny 2, with Activision being fucking partnered with Blizzard, I feel like there was a sit down. They're like, okay, this is how you make an MMO, because they did it. They did what they needed to do, and they're adding really cool shit with the DLCs.
Mm-hmm.
So I am thoroughly pleased with Destiny 2 in the sense that it's what I wanted, and I'm displeased with my addiction level to it, because I want to play it talking about it right now.
I want to play it talking about it right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and I agree with you in that regard. I still think about my experience with the base game, which I flew through so quickly.
Well, I mean, everything I just mentioned is base game.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking, like, that was like 2-3 days. And
oh, dude, the first 3 days I played the game, and I played nonstop, I was already into the DLCs. And, like, anybody who's played the game already is going to be like, yeah, you can get through pretty quickly. Like, but I just fucking, I couldn't, like, I didn't stop. I just fucking flew through it.
I'm just only bringing that up because...
And I was taking my time.
Obviously, the three of us have purchased DLCs and are continuing to play the game, so obviously we enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like, so that has to be thrown out there. So even if me and Chris are sounding a little bit on the negative side, it's only because honestly, if I had gone back and I had bought Destiny 2 when it came out and played it pre DLC,
100%.
I think I'd still be disappointed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Same.
So
no, people were when it came out.
Yeah.
People were upset. That was one of the big, like, I already was like, Destiny 2, dude, fucking, they didn't do Destiny very well after, we beat it. And then it came out and people were like, this is Destiny. And I'm like, that's not good. And people are like, this fucking sucks. And then people are like, this microtransaction bullshit, blah, blah, blah. People are like, fucking artificially making the end harder, so I have to fucking pay for XP boosters and shit. And then they admitted to doing that and fixed it. They fixed it. But I heard all that. I'm like, that is not good. I actually would have never played Destiny 2 if they didn't give it out for free.
Same.
and now they got money from me.
Even my roommate has Destiny 2, and she's like, "You want to play this?" It's like, nope.
Nah, not me.
I'm good.
I got games I want to play.
Then it became an obligation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then I had to play it, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah, that's the thing that's really interesting is like that I had to play it for the show. That's the only reason I even played it, and fucking I bought the DLC. So I mean, like I liked it. So this is a win-win scenario for them and for me. So because I would have never bought it, and if I did play, like you said, when the game first came out without the DLCs and the work they put into it, I would have thought, well, this is pretty much Destiny. So yeah, but again for impressions, this game I'm really enjoying it a lot. But for the first time, I beat Destiny. I was like, I'm not playing Destiny 2. And I didn't. We just talked about that. But playing Destiny 2, I'm like, I'm actually interested in Destiny 3 now. So I feel like they found their stride, which is good. Because if I play a game I don't like, I'm not like fucking, oh, fuck them, I hate them, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, well, that sucks. So, of course, I want them to make a good game, and they did it. So now I'm just like, cool. I'm glad you guys figured that out. Let's make some good games. I want to play it. Like, I got money. Let's fucking play this shit. Division 2. I'm looking forward to that. I'm hoping I liked the Division. Had the same end game problem.
Same shortcomings.
And they've addressed that shit too. Ubisoft. And Ubisoft is the fucking king of updating their games. Mm-hmm. So, there's another one coming around the fucking corner. So, to play.
Yeah. Recommendations then?
Did everybody do impressions?
Yep.
I've been talking for a long time.
You were last.
I've been talking for a long time. Yeah, recommendations. If you like first-person shooters in general, you need to play it.
With controls that tight, I don't think so.
Yeah. If you like online first-person shooters, whether co-op or versus, you should play this game because it's got both and it does both well. If you like the Borderlands series, I think you should probably play this because it is not as robust, but it's a loot-driven first-person shooter, so you'll probably be at home there. If you like MMOs, play this. Even if you don't like first-person shooters, you probably will like it because you're going to be playing with your friends. The difficulty's not that bad unless you play some really hard strike stuff, but even then, people could probably carry you. Just don't die. Although they're going to get pissed, so play with people who are friendly. Yeah, so if you like MMOs, if you like loot games where you can customize your characters, if you like sci-fi games, play it. If you played Destiny and you liked it, play it. So you probably already are playing it. If you played Destiny and you didn't like it for the same reasons I said, play Destiny 2. I'm telling you, they fixed it. I really mean that. So if you fucking played Destiny and you liked it for a split second, you hated it later, play Destiny 2. Just play it. Fuck, you guys throw something in there.
Okay, so I'm gonna completely agree with everything you said. The only I'm gonna put like an asterisk on the end of it, and I'm also gonna say I honestly feel that it is almost mandatory to buy at least the first expansion pass to play this game and get a full experience out of it, in my opinion. You do get, a game, a full game out of Destiny 2, but in 2 days, maybe 3, depending on
if you're cracking out on it.
Yeah. You're going to be done.
Yeah. I think it's also important to emphasize, too, that right now is the perfect time to get into Destiny 2 because you got the game for free on PlayStation Plus, so you didn't spend money there, except for PlayStation Plus, obviously, technicality, blah, blah, blah. But you can buy the first 2 DLCs, I think, for $20.
$20.
When I bought them, they were $10 on sale a piece. I think they just put them together for $20, so it makes sense. So that's $20 there, and then the new expansion's $40. So, I mean, like, for the price of entry for the original Destiny 2, you're getting quite a bit of content, and I really want to emphasize Forsaken adds some things that adds longevity. This isn't a 2 to 3 hour
there's too much to do now.
Expansion. It is at the very least 12-hour expansion. So
yeah, for sure.
Adds new modes, new cooperative modes, bunch of shit. So
and I think it's important that during recommendations to say that this is you're getting it for free. Yeah. You should at least try it. 100%. I think everybody. I don't think there's a single type of gamer out there who couldn't maybe find some form of enjoyment out of it.
Yeah.
But you do really, I think, to get the full experience. And I'm sure Activision, Blizzard, Bungie is loving every word coming out of my mouth right now.
And I should send this
Do
to him,
you,
like, hey, you guys want to fucking endorse us in some way?
you,
I like
I
Call of
really
Duty.
do think the DLC or slash expansions are pretty much necessary. And like Seth said, even up to Forsaken. Forsaken completely makes the game this huge, robust experience.
Yeah, it's like
You
Diablo
do,
3 and its expansion.
yeah. So if you don't mind, just taking that word and jumping in to that price point, I really think that you're going to have been the same problem we're having, which is nothing else can get done because you're playing the Destiny 2.
Yeah, I really like Deep Rock Galactic. I was really excited. That was our game of the month. And I'm really upset with myself. Like a junkie. My family's like, oh, we haven't seen you in a while. I'm like, yeah, I've been busy. I'm just over there fucking shooting up Destiny 2. I'm looking at, God, that's a little grim, but welcome to the channel. Go to the Discord and find out. Shit gets a little weird in there. And I'm looking at Deep Rock Galactic. I'm like, I really want to play you. Daddy's busy. I'm sorry. I'm just going to do one daily. Just one. I'm just going to knock out one thing. And I'm like, oh, that one's almost done. Oh, that one's almost done.
4 hours later.
Yeah. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyways, that was my only addition. I really think base game's fine. Expansion's almost necessary, though.
Yes.
I don't think it's necessary, but I do think you're going to buy it if you like the base game. I feel like you're going to have to do it. So, yeah. Because it's better. It makes the game better. It adds longevity. You're going to beat the game and go, well, I'm not done. So you're going to feel obligated. So I'm saying right now is the time to fucking play the game because you're getting it for free. I'm not going to say don't buy this game, but if you want to save the money, if you're already like, well, I might try it, do it now so you can already buy the DLCs and save yourself the fucking money. Because you're going to play the game and you're going to want those DLCs and you're going to be like, God, I should have played that when it's fucking free. So nope. That's how I'm going to emphasize it. But I get where Chevy's coming for sure. Like, it adds so much to the game. It does make it good. I think the base game's fine in itself, but I know if you like it, you're going to want those fucking DLCs. So, pretty much selling this game right now. We're not getting paid for it. So emphasizing it's not good for you. You're not going to leave your house. You're going to fucking have heart conditions and shit. You're just going to sit
4
there.
hours of sleep before work every fucking day.
It's not good for you. Anything you want to add to that, Chris?
No.
I mean, honestly, I think
there's nothing else to add. I think you guys covered it really well.
There's pretty specific people I'm like, play this for sure, but I really do think this game, like any Activision game, really, is designed for everyone to play it. I feel like people who...
Oh, yeah, low barrier of entry.
Yeah, I feel like most people could play this game, and if you're playing with friends, you're probably going to stick with it. If you play it and you're kind of like, and you're just playing alone, you're probably not going to stick with it. Because it's a game that's built for investment. They want you to stay there, and it's easier to stay there when you're playing with friends. So, I've been playing it very passively, like I do Warframe. Although fucking Warframe's better. Don't at me. Sorry. That's a reference to me and Alex's discussion in Discord.
His mentioned again.
Yeah, he comes up. They all do. Sega Scream. Fucking what's up? Jeremy, love you. Anyway, let's get into grading. Chris, grade it, please.
Base game alone. Keep telling myself, base game alone, despite what I've said, I still think it's an A. I was hooked into it.
Damn.
I know. I was hooked into it the moment I started playing it again because it felt so much like old Destiny, but it still felt, like you said, improved upon. Like there's something about it that I just want to keep going through it, And me, the person, the tightwad that I am, I still bought the first 2 DLCs, played all through them, and it's addictive.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
Damn, you set the bar high. I thought you were going to go lower.
That's fucking crazy.
I love it.
You said that like you're in a relationship that you know is bad for you and abusive, but you're just like, I love him. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got an A. Fuck, Chevy, you go next.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm an asshole. So I think base game alone, like you said, I think the game's a C-. It's passable, but
damn, son.
I honestly think the only reason I continued is because I'm the fucking type of gamer where I'm like playing this game. I'm level 19, and I'm like, I know there's more levels. I can't do it.
You're tearing the channel in half.
So
You're tearing everything down.
I didn't buy the DLCs out of any like, oh, I want to see where the story goes. It's more so like, there's more levels. I need them.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. They get you hooked.
But
like cigarettes, get some more packs. Find out where it takes you. Lung
but
cancer.
like I'm trying to emphasize, there wasn't out of an enjoyment of the base game really. It was good enough. Familiar though. It was still, like I said, to me it was just kind of like it's Destiny 1 but a little better. And then I'm playing it and I don't care about the story that much, but I am having fun shooting things.
That's really weird though, and that's something I keep battling myself with, is when I think about my enjoyment of the, like, now I'm loving it. I mean, but when I did beat the base game, I enjoyed myself, but I wasn't like thoroughly impressed with it. I was just like, wow, okay, they fixed all that shit. This is cool. But when I beat it, I wasn't done. So I was like, I got to the end. I'm like, well, I guess I'm getting the DLCs. I'm not done with this game yet.
That's the junkie part of me going, yeah. There's more. I know there's more.
Yeah.
And I have to do it. There's no way I can't fucking do it.
And if you're one of those people back in the day who bought the game full price and you felt that like we felt it, and then they released the DLCs for $20 a pop for 3 hours of content a piece, that's why people were fucking angry. Because I remember people were very angry
100%.
About it. Yeah.
And like you said earlier, right now is a good time to do it because it's free, and with $20 you get 2 DLCs, you get that content, and it even those 2 small pockets of content expand the game enough to make it, I think, from a C-, and I know this isn't about those, but I'm gonna say it, makes it a B+ and A- game.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you what you would rate it outside of the base game. So you gave it a C-. Chris gave it a fucking A.
It's so hard for me to separate from the 2 DLCs, but yeah.
He's got that fucking Destiny boner.
I do.
Yeah. I mean, he's not alone though, because I'm gonna give it an A-. The only reason I'm giving it the minus is because I didn't care about the storyline. I was thoroughly invested in the game, though. I enjoyed playing the game, and I purchased the DLCs without thinking, out of necessity, to keep playing the game that I was already enjoying a lot, and it made the game better.
Junkie.
And I'm a junkie, so I wasn't gonna give it a B+, but I can't think of a whole lot of things that I can dock it for. And people who were like playing Destiny 2 when it came out, I'm sure have a lot of things they could complain about. But from where I'm coming at this month, and no cost to entry, and buying content I enjoyed for a cheap price, in my opinion, I've enjoyed the whole fucking process of it. I really liked the game, and like I said, I emphasized already earlier, they fixed everything. They improved everything. They made everything better. So it's an overall great experience. So I feel like I have to give it an A in some capacity. I still want to give it a full-on A because I don't love it, and I think I would have if I thought the storyline was better. It is worth mentioning, Forsaken, its storyline is basic and straightforward, but it works. And they also went out of their way to show off storytelling in a way that they haven't done in the other ones. Huh?
I said mocap the shit out of it.
Yeah, there's some really cool scenes, but also even playing through the levels, there's some stuff going on that is a little more interesting than most of the rest of the game. So
100%.
that's what I'm saying when I say Destiny 3. I hope is at the very least Destiny 2 up to Forsaken in its content and its ambition, because I feel like Forsaken is where Destiny has become great.
Oh yeah, for sure. Finally.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because Destiny 2 is fine. It's good. I like it. It's addictive as fuck. But Forsaken, I'm like, here's some deeper shit.
Yeah, the amount of content right now is crazy.
Yeah,
so.
It's really fun. So A-, and a C-. Chevy is fucking.
Like I said, I feel like an asshole, but I honestly think had I bought $60 Destiny 2, I'd be pissed off and want to break the disc in half.
Yeah, that's why I have to separate myself from that, because I wasn't there. But I understand the people who were.
Right.
Because, I mean, I remember when Josh got it. He was, like, kind of into it, but not really. I think he traded in fucking instantly. I wouldn't make
He was
that
kind of into it to
decision.
the point of like, please come play with me, justify my purchase.
He was like letting us know he had it. He's like, well, I'm playing it. And we're like, no. He's like, yeah, but I didn't buy it. I'm just playing it. And this thing's kind of cool. I'm like, no. I'm not doing it. And then he traded it in because obviously he wasn't sticking with it. And now we're all back. And he's liking it too. So everyone I know is liking it. So.
Yeah.
All right, let us know in the comments. What do you think about Destiny 2? Let me know where you're coming into this game at. Are you coming into it now like us? Did you buy it back in the day? Do you still have any kind of stigma towards it? Are you not playing it for a specific reason, or is this a game you're just not into? You never cared about Destiny, you don't care about Destiny 2, you don't like playing first-person shooters. Let me know why you're not playing Destiny 2 or why you're not interested in playing it. Let me know why you hate it and won't play it for whatever reason. And let me know why you like it. What do you like about it? What do we have to look forward to in later game? Like I said, I'm at like 518 right now. Chevy's at like 517.
Chevy an asshole?
Is Chevy an asshole for giving us C minus? Yeah, since the beginning of this conversation, I was like, ooh, he's being very particular about that base game not being all too great. That's why I had to fucking throw some goddamn knowledge down with all the shit they changed. Obviously, you guys know. And yeah. Give it a grade too. Let me know what you'd grade it. But that's going to do it for this episode of Plus Club for September. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to check out our other episodes. Check us out on Tumblr, Twitter, and Facebook at Tasty Loot Gaming. Check out the streams on Twitch at Tasty Senpai, all one word. That's me. Tasty_fruit. That's Chris. Hit the notification button to know when we go live. Check us out on Discord, link down below. You can talk to us anytime, all the time. We are literally there all the fucking time. Even when I'm at work, I'm still not working and talking to you guys. And I really need to stop fucking doing that. But it's hard because I like talking with you guys. Chris is always there.
I'm absent lately.
Chevy pops in with the meme something? Meme king,
Well,
meme lord?
Not this week. This week I'm gone, so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Chevy likes to pop in with the memes. We are on podcast platforms, iTunes, Spotify's, and all of the Spotify's. We're on all of them. I believe me, we are. And other ones if you'd like to listen to us. And if you want to watch us, check us out on Tasty Loot Gaming on YouTube. And Game of the Month tomorrow. Find out what we're going to be playing next month. And what we thought of Deep Rock Galactic. I got to go play right now. So I can tell you. Yeah, my name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
And I'm Chris.
Till the next episode. Have a good one, guys. And take it easy.